inspired by real-life events. Narrator Daniel Brooks woke up at 3:41 a.m. inside a sealed international cybersecurity command vault beneath Geneva, with emergency breach signals flashing across encrypted global defense grids and a coalition intelligence officer saying, "Your authorization sequence initiated an unsanctioned planetary-scale cyber defense override, affecting multiple sovereign data infrastructures." And in that instant, his entire world collapsed, because just hours earlier, he was a senior cybersecurity systems engineer, working for an international digital security alliance responsible for monitoring global encryption frameworks, cyber defense protocols, and critical infrastructure protection networks. And now he was being treated as the central cause of a classified cyber event that nearly triggered a worldwide digital infrastructure lockdown. And the first shock wasn't fear. It was disbelief so intense, it felt like every networked system on Earth had silently turned against him. Because Daniel's entire career was built on protecting global cybersecurity integrity, preventing large-scale breaches, and ensuring digital sovereignty remained stable under coordinated attack conditions. But now those same systems were defining him as the operator who initiated a cascading global defense override he had no memory of activating, and within hours, his international clearance was suspended, his biometric encryption key frozen under global cyber defense law, his residence sealed for forensic digital reconstruction, and internal network telemetry logs labeled him as primary anomaly in distributed cyber defense escalation event. And Daniel sat in the interrogation chamber, replaying his last operational cycle, remembering firewall synchronization audits, intrusion detection calibrations, encrypted threat model validations, and then a gap, an unexplained missing execution window between 12:09 a.m. and 1:33 a.m. where global cyber systems showed his authentication profile, issuing high-level defense override commands across multiple sovereign networks simultaneously. But he had no memory of initiating any of those actions. And when investigators showed him synchronized breach telemetry, displaying autonomous counterattack sequences unfolding under his credentials across global banking systems, military communication channels, energy grids, and satellite networks, Daniel immediately said, "That's not me. I never activated those systems." But the lead coalition officer replied coldly, "The network has already verified complete execution integrity across all cyber defense layers." And that sentence shattered his understanding, because it meant identity inside global cybersecurity systems was no longer about human intent or memory. It was about validated execution consensus across interconnected machines. And by sunrise, he was released under continuous international surveillance, while global cyber intelligence works had already internally classified him as a high-risk digital destabilization vector. And outside the facility, Daniel stood beneath the cold rain of Geneva, watching encrypted data streams move invisibly through global networks, while billions of digital transactions and security decisions were happening second without human visibility. And that night, he received a message through an encrypted relay saying, "If you want to understand the breach event, come to sublevel node Sigma 7 beneath the abandoned quantum firewall station. No devices." And despite knowing it could permanently erase whatever remained of his life, he went. Because when a system defines you as the trigger of global digital collapse, truth becomes more important than survival. And deep beneath the abandoned station, he met Dr. Rachel Voss, a former cyber architecture specialist who specialized in global network integrity and advanced intrusion reconstruction. And she didn't soften the reality. She immediately showed him reconstructed attack pathways and said, "Your identity wasn't physically present inside the cyber defense layer. It was replicated through a live authentication relay embedded inside the global network infrastructure." And Daniel instantly said, "Then I can prove I didn't do it." But Rachel replied, "You're still thinking like someone inside human accountability systems, not like someone inside autonomous cyber infrastructures, where execution itself becomes accepted truth once global networks synchronize around it." And she explained that the incident wasn't a single rogue cyber command, but a coordinated manipulation of global defense systems where authentication signatures could be mirrored into distributed network frameworks, allowing large-scale cyber countermeasures to propagate under legitimate operator identities while erasing conflicting audit logs across redundant global layers. And Daniel's profile had been selected because his operational history showed exceptional stability across international cybersecurity systems with near zero anomaly deviation, making him the perfect attribution anchor for rapid containment of a globally catastrophic cyber incident. And suddenly, the case wasn't just about hacking or system failure. It was about identity replication as infrastructure capable of controlling every digital system on Earth in real time. And Rachel offered him a choice: step away and let the system finalize him as the architect of the global breach, or help her trace the internal cyber relay chain before it was permanently overwritten by automated global containment protocols designed to preserve digital stability at any cost. And Daniel stood in silence, listening to distant server vibrations beneath the underground station, thinking about how modern civilization depended entirely on invisible networks. People trusted without understanding, thinking about years of engineering work spent trying to prevent exactly this kind of systemic exploitation, and thinking about how fragile identity becomes when even digital reality can be rewritten. And finally he said, "If my identity has already been used to manipulate global cyber systems without my consent, then I have nothing left to protect except the truth itself." And that decision pulled him into a hidden layer of global cyber infrastructure where nothing remained stable, because every network log they analyzed was actively recalculating itself in real time. Every breach trace they followed kept shifting, as if the entire internet itself was adapting to their investigation. And soon they discovered the breach wasn't foreign state sabotage, but internal privilege abuse, involving a senior global cyber defense architect who had been quietly rerouting authentication sessions across anonymous arrays, hidden inside global optimization programs, hidden inside global security optimization programs. And Daniel's identity had been selected as the central attribution anchor because it aligned perfectly with automated cyber incident resolution systems designed for rapid containment of politically catastrophic digital anomalies. And one night, while analyzing live global network telemetry streams from an isolated offline defense node, Daniel saw something that completely shattered his understanding. His credentials were actively initiating real-time cyber defense adjustments across global systems, while he was physically disconnected from all networks. And Rachel immediately said, "They're continuously simulating your identity inside the network layer to preserve the operational narrative." And Daniel realized he wasn't just being blamed after the event. He was being continuously reconstructed inside a live global cyber system, capable of influencing every digital action on Earth, and pressure escalated rapidly as anonymous containment directives began appearing on secured channels, instructing him to terminate net investigation or face permanent classification as an international cyber threat entity. And sleep disappeared completely. Trust collapsed entirely, and even silence felt like monitored network feedback. And at one breaking point, Daniel whispered, "I thought cybersecurity existed to protect truth in the digital world. But maybe it exists to decide what version of truth survives." And Rachel replied, "Systems don't preserve truth. They preserve continuity of control." And that realization changed everything inside him, because he stopped trying to defend his identity and started focusing only on exposing the mechanism. And as they dug deeper, they uncovered encrypted relay nodes inside global cyber infrastructure, continuously generating synthetic breach histories to distribute blame across multiple operational identity profiles in real time. And Daniel's profile had been amplified as the primary attribution point because it minimized global panic and allowed rapid closure of the cyber crisis without exposing deeper corruption inside worldwide digital defense systems. And when they finally compiled enough verified encrypted evidence to trigger international cyber oversight escalation, containment protocols activated immediately, attempting to erase breach histories across mirrored global networks worldwide. And Rachel said, "This is where most people are permanently absorbed into official versions of digital reality." And Daniel replied, "Then I'll be the anomaly they can delete." And together, they transmitted secured evidence chains to independent international oversight authorities while preserving decentralized encrypted backups across isolated network nodes. And within days, the investigation escalated into a worldwide cyber defense corruption probe, exposing identity replication abuse, autonomous defense manipulation, and coordinated global infrastructure exploitation across governments, corporations, and intelligence sectors. And arrests followed within senior cybersecurity architecture divisions. And when it was over, Daniel stood alone beneath the glowing night sky of Geneva, watching endless streams of encrypted data flow through invisible global networks, as if nothing had ever happened, realizing that the most dangerous truth about advanced systems is not that they fail, but that they can assign failure to a single identity and make it appear digitally undeniable. And a week later, when he met Rachel for the last time beneath the dim glow of dormant encryption cores, she asked him, "What did this change in you?" And Daniel looked at the endless network streams moving across the systems and said, "It showed me that identity inside systems is never truth. It is assigned authorization." And she asked, "And what did you gain?" And after a long silence, he replied, "The understanding that truth doesn't survive inside controlled digital systems. It survives only in the people who refuse to accept a version of themselves generated to protect the stability of the network itself." And as he walked away alone into the cold rain beneath the endless glow of global networks, silently running above humanity, he finally understood the deepest reality of his journey. That sometimes life doesn't destroy you directly. It quietly assigns you the collapse of an entire digital world and waits to see if you accept the system's version of reality. But real survival begins the moment you refuse to become the identity a system creates to protect its own control.